Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another live Ask an Engineer. We do this every single week at 8 o'clock. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit factory. This is the factory behind us. It's a true, real factory with all sorts of factoryness.
That's right.
And it's me, Lady Ada, the engineer, and
Yeah.
Mr. Lady Ada, also known as the Batman. And we're going to have an exciting show for you with all sorts of news, new products, excitement, what was on the show and tell. Tell them what's on tonight's show.
Okay, on tonight's show, the code is Blue Feather. That is 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Talk about show and tell, showing and sharing a full house. Pack the mailbags and stop by. Help wanted, the Adafruit Jobs Board. Time traveling, wearable electronics, 3D printing, Raspberry Pi news, new products, your questions, something top secret. We're going to have a trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Dude, there's like 12 things going on.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
So, without further ado, just paying some bills here. The code is Blue Feather. Again, 10%.
Will they find out why the code's Blue Feather?
Yeah, you'll find out.
Maybe.
So
Okay, maybe.
we'll let you know. And a couple little logistic-y things, paying some bills. Free deals going on right now at the $50 mark, the $100 mark, the $150 mark, the $200 mark, the $250 mark, right? We got all
The
of them.
51 one, no.
Wait, no, really?
It's $99, $150, $99 for the trinket.
We got all this? Yeah.
So $99 for the Perma Proto, $150 for the trinket, $200 for the free shipping in the continental United States, and $250 or more pro trinket.
We're giving away so much stuff. I'm
We
confused.
can't even give
You
them
can
all.
owe it, yeah. Crazy Lady Ada's prices are so insane. So adafruit.com/free.
Yeah.
Okay. Another reminder for your Manhattan, same day all the way up to 11 a.m. We do same day service. It's been working out great. Programming note and reminder, we do this every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. That's show and tell. Wednesday night, which is still right now, 8 p.m. Ask an Engineer. We're also broadcasting on Periscope, and we're also broadcasting on Twitch.
Twitch is particularly good quality, too.
Yeah, Twitch is really good quality. I had to figure out something at the last second. It's all working out. Phew, that was close. Lady Ada, show and tell.
Do not adjust your set.
Yeah. Every week, people from around the world show and share their projects. I'm going to do a couple things real quick.
I wrote them down. You do your things.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go over the...
Why don't you do that?
We had so many people show up. Okay, so we start off with Tony Nicola from Adafruit Northwest, who had a massive power outage this week in his area, and but luckily the power came on last night. And he said in the meantime he read half of a K-Town's Bluetooth book. So keep a Bluetooth book around. And batteries, bottled water, and a low-level Bluetooth, low-energy protocol description book by Ken Townsend, written for Riley Media, is what we suggest this season. And for his project, he showed off a Chipmunk basic demo, and that's like a very simple basic interpreter that kind of mimics how Ataris and Apple IIs used to do basics, if you ever wrote basic in those programs, for those computers. And you saw that in the video that we started with. That was the thing with 10, print Lady Ada, and 20, go to 10, run. So that was Tony's project, and that also was his video. That video was his project from last week. Noah and Pedro are showing off a future project, so this is why you should watch, because you get to find out what's going on in the future. They built a really awesome Daft Punk helmet. They built one before, but this one is even better. They've learned a lot. It's thinner and lighter, and it's I don't know which one's which. They're just like the robots, but it's the one with the strip alongside. Okay. So they're working on the NeoPixel stuff right now, and it's a 3-piece part, and they were silent and techno-y while they showed it off. So check that out and look forward to that project. Don't forget, tomorrow, Thursday, 3 p.m. every week, they have 3D Thursday hangout, and they show off all sorts of cool projects, what they're doing, tips and tricks, Q&A. It's the best live 3D printing show. It's also the only live 3D printing show. Phil B,
that's correct,
who is Adafruit West Coast, showed off some retro tech. He has a Pixar computer. So Pixar, the company that makes animated movies like Wall-E and Up and et cetera, they used to make their own computers to do the animation. And so he didn't show off that computer because it's huge, but he did show off a bunch of main boards that he found on eBay. So he has like a video graphics processor board and a main board, and he put them in these like beautiful shadow boxes. And they're awesome because it's just like all these dip chips, like that's all they had. They didn't really have surface mount at the time. And so it's all these like hand soldered RAM chips, and they're in a grid like this big in order to make like maybe a megabyte of RAM. And he says it's a quad processor computer because it would do red, green, blue, and alpha channels for an image simultaneously. So that's why it has a 4 processor system. So I learned something. Tucker came in with a DIY mini robot. The robot's built on an Arduino. It's called Little Buddy, and it has 2 of the RoboFace LED matrix eyes, and in the future it's going to have an LED matrix mouth. So that's going to show up next week or next week after. So maybe Tucker can buy and show off new Robo Buddy, part of the Little Buddy RoboFace project. Whew. And then Seth came back. Seth was here last week, and Seth has a humanoid robot he's working on, and he's now thinking about how he's going to make it step over things. So it's all the way already thinking about now how not only how to build a robot, but then how to make sure the robot doesn't trip over something and breaks, which is smart. Good work, Seth, thinking ahead. Adam showed off some photos of an old arcade machine that he built that could play Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Sega, Genesis, and I think Xbox One games. And he took it apart. He's going to build another one, and he's going to show it off when he finishes it. Roberto came in with his update of his Press Your Luck game, clone game that he built, and he wrote it in Java. And he has a button that works with it. I think it's a Raspberry Pi, and so you can actually like press a button and press your luck and relive the 80s. He also has a really cool looking 3D printed lampshade. 2 great projects, and also there was a mini maker fair, and he showed off his badge. Richard has been making robo blimps, and in the hackerspace they have these really tall ceilings, and so they got a can of helium. So basically any excuse to get a tank of helium, right? I mean, like who's going to say no to getting a tank of helium? And they blew up some balloons, and they 3D printed some parts that they attached to the balloon to make these little robo blimps. Which reminds me, Chris Anderson of DIY Drones started with a blimp kit.
You did.
Yeah, well, so, and now he's
he's
a drone mogul.
Yeah, if I had the opportunity, I would have like the maker tree with all the different species, because like Chris Anderson went down a different path at first, and then went the other way with drones. But he had a blimp kit. He was actually trying to remember. There was a couple of maker blimp kits, and you don't see them right now.
Arduino, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, there was. That's cool.
Okay, so anyways, Roberto shut off. It just reminded me. And it's going to be a workshop project for kids, and he's going to write up for the learning system. That will be cool. I can't wait. And then Riley is building a 3D printer. He took apart a printer bot Simple Mini, I think, and is designing his own printer and printing out the parts for it. And that's kind of cool. And he says it's his second printer, so it's going to be called the Riley Bot 2.0. And I said, that's an excellent name. And then we also had C. Scott came in, and he showed off his Chrominus B, his MIDI CV, and his oscillator bank, and he played some sweet, sweet tunes. Okay. And we rejoiced. It was a full house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had 11 people.
Yeah.
How's that even possible?
Yeah, from the people that are at Google who worked on Hangouts or are working on Hangouts, they've told us that we have the most consistent and highly used, like as far as like people who like actually participate out of all the Hangouts. Yep. So who would have thought? All participants in the show, it's good, the sticker. All participants in the Show and Tell get an as seen on the Show and Tell sticker. Just email support@adafruit.com. And here's how to get on the Show and Tell. Go to google.com/+Adafruit, and Google just changed how they do all of their Google Plus stuff. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a interface update. There's a lot of things to keep up with. However, they make it much better and easier. So just go to the page, look for the event. You'll see us post the link at 7:30, but also let us know that you're going to be there so we can add you to the circle. Yep. We're trying to get them to allow more circle invites. We have the Show and Tell circle is so big, it has maxed out the number of invites.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's because it's so popular and well loved. Yeah. And I love that this week we had a bunch of new people, which was really great.
Yeah.
We always had a little bit of a cycle.
The median age is getting lower too.
There's
a lot of young people.
There was a lot of young people. I was kind of like, wow, like half the people are younger than 20 or 18.
What I like, if someone's going to take us out, it's going to be a young person. It's not going to be someone who's our contemporary.
I hope Tucker just puts out a business.
It's up and coming. No, it's like the next generation. It's now time to hand it off to the next generation of scientists, engineers, everyone who does
All
art.
ages are welcome.
Yeah, okay.
So show off your project next week, 7:30 p.m.
Mailbag, Pack the Mailbag stops by. These are the letters that we read to the entire company. When you guys send us nice emails, we read it to the whole company at our weekly State of the Fruit. We also read it here on Ask an Engineer. This week, it's from Dave. I too have found myself only looking to Adafruit for project needs. I made some color changing night lights for my 3 daughters from a Teensy 2.0 Piranha RGB 3 POTS, a push button mist parts to control various functions in different modes, delay time, PD infrared, green, blue, channels, and overall brightness. Everything came from Adafruit, including the mint tin enclosure, except for a plastic diffuser from a GE G35 string set. Even after a few years, all 3 night lights are on every night. One even has a 3D printed R2D2 diffuser. Thank you to everyone at Adafruit for the awesome customer service, great products, and well-crafted, easy to follow tutorials. Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
That was a nice note.
Note.
That was a nice one. You know, the gift of making keeps going. Like if you make a nightlight for someone, they have it for ever, potentially.
Night lights are good for for eternally, and if with a Teensy and a Piranha RGB LED, it'll last for decades. I mean, LEDs like they don't burn out.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, help wanted. This is the Adafruit jobs board. This is the best and only free maker jobs board in the world. You post your skills if you're a maker, or if you're a company looking for makers, you can do that.
But how much do you have to pay to find a job?
0.
It's free?
So this one is from Bitbanger Labs in New York, electrical engineer, embedded developer. Bitbanger Labs, a consumer electronics company based in Brooklyn, New York, is seeking a contract EE embedded developer with the following skills. They want schematic, experience with DC power. They want firmware development, working directly with a mobile developer to make sure their device works with their app. You know some Nordic NRF 51822?
You would if you had read K-Town's Bluetooth Low Energy book like I suggested like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So the people that want to build like products and things off our stuff, who have companies, they later on might need an engineer who knows something about that so they can post on our jobs board. So Bitbanger Labs, very cool. They obviously get it. Their customer, I believe.
We love the Nordic 51822.
Yeah.
You love this chip? Go apply for this job.
Okay.
Get paid to do what you love.
So that's that. Next up, some open source hardware news. We're an open source hardware company. Shipping deadlines. I got to mention these each week all the way up to the holidays are over. So shipping deadlines for 2015. This is what they are, folks. You need to get your ground orders in by December 11th. Your 3-day, December 17th. Your 2nd day, December 18th. Your overnight, the 21st. There's no Saturday and Sunday service. Don't count on that. For first class international, you should do it like right now. And also if you want to do any type of express mail or UPS international, do it right now. The other thing, occasionally we will suggest that someone orders from a distributor and not even purchase from us because there's a lot of complications with international shipping. We'd much rather have someone just place the order with someone else. And sometimes there's things that we would just suggest, like, hey, if you have a local vendor, we appreciate the business, but please get it from someone who can definitely get it to you by that time.
Yep.
And if you have any special requirements or needs or anything special outside of a normal shipment, please use your local suppliers. You can also at any time use DigiKey and ask for
non-catalog requests.
Non-catalog requests. They will send you anything, and they're about to ship their 50 millionth package.
Yep.
Their 50 millionth package.
It's a lot of packages.
So I would suggest.
I am like 1,000 of those.
Yeah.
Basically, even though it's like, well, it's not even Thanksgiving and you're already talking about holiday shipping. Yeah, but that's because we want to make sure that you're satisfied and happy. Don't wait till December 20th. A lot of people do, and it's out of stock. We don't have it. There's winter storms. There's delays. There's power outages. Just take care of it in the next couple of weeks. You have plenty of time. Check out these dates. Just make sure you get whatever you want before that date. You'll be happy. Your gift recipients will be happy.
Yeah.
We'll be happy. It'll be a happy holiday.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to have tough conversations with customers like, look, there's no way your request is going to work out. You should really shop elsewhere because it's either too late or there's something logistically too complicated to get something. So anyways, more open source hardware news. So I am going to play just a tidbit of this. You spoke at a conference last week, but you didn't have to go there.
Yay!
You did one of the first live HD broadcasts to O'Reilly's Next Economy Talk. The CEO of Kickstarter was on right before you, and then we downloaded you virtually from the factory here. And what I want to do is just play about a minute or so. they're going to be able to post the live broadcasts from this, the full thing. But I wanted to give you an idea of how unique and rare this was. So the technology that we have is really good. So you don't really travel. We maximize our time here and do a show every week.
Yeah.
No, we do a show every week. And so last week on Thursday, you were able to do a live broadcast, again, like full on HD, inside of a factory, a tour, answering questions live from the audience.
It was awesome.
Degree of difficulty 10. Even the Russian judge liked it. That's the phrase.
Even Pinboard, Maciej was like,
even Pinboard liked it.
Can they, what did he say? Can they pinpoint the landing?
Yeah.
And we did.
Okay.
It was awesome, and they said they were not dubious, but they were impressed.
Yeah.
That it worked.
You know it's good when the AV team afterwards says, wow,
Well,
how did you do that?
That worked.
So here's just a few minutes of it, just to give you an idea of kind of this is, I mean, like, we're now broadcasting like a news organization, live here from the factory. So here we go.
Wonderful vision. Thank you, Yancey, for all that you've done for the world with a vision that has really enabled so many others. Our next visitor is not here in person. Limor Fried is the founder, CEO, and dare I say, presiding genius of Adafruit Industries. She's one of my favorite entrepreneurs, has been since the beginning of the company. She shows us what is possible when a brilliant engineer harnesses the tools of modern design and manufacturing, an open source culture of sharing, and then uses social media to spread what she does to the world. She's built a remarkable manufacturing company in an unexpected place, New York City. Her first office was on Wall Street, no less. It was actually, she lived there as well, and it was a little curtained off apartment, and then the factory and the warehouse. But as the company's grown, they've now moved to Soho. Limor is going to actually take us on a video tour of her workplace in New York so that you can see what the small-scale factory of the future looks like. Now, Limor, are we live here? And please welcome Limor Fried. All right, so Limor, tell us a little bit about Adafruit first off.
Absolutely. My name is Limor Fried, and I'm the founder and lead engineer of Adafruit Industries. We're an open source hardware company here in Manhattan. We're actually in the factory right now, and this is my desk. This is where I do all the CAD design of oscilloscope and a computer and probes and multimeters. And what's really interesting about how Adafruit works is I design electronics here in the factory over there, and then the manufacturing equipment is about 20 feet away. So I'm going to turn around and show you what I actually use to manufacture. This is a surface mount line. It's basically the pick and place line that manufactures everything electronic you have. But usually this is done abroad, usually in Asia or maybe Mexico. But I've got this right here in my Soho factory, and it's a durable line with a stenciler and a pick and place and a board loader and oven. And yeah, I'm able to design and manufacture 5 seconds apart.
That's awesome. So this is pretty counterintuitive, and it is pretty amazing. You go in there and you go, oh my gosh, this is the whole deal. You're actually one of the last, I believe you're actually the last cell phone manufacturer in America, among other things.
That's right. We do have an open source hardware cell phone, the Arduino phone that we sell and manufacture here in Manhattan. Yeah. And it's kind of fun. It's like you can build your own phone. You don't have to worry about anybody listening in.
Yeah. Is there any chance we can kind of look inside one of these machines, or are they running right now?
This is a stencil printer.
Okay, so that's just a little bit of a snippet. They're going to have the rest of it posted soon, but what I wanted to show is like what's possible, because in the future I'm probably going to need to help do this again. That way we can keep you engineering, keep you doing what you do best, and not in a plane away from EagleCAD.
Yeah, like it would have taken
and the factory.
a day to fly there,
yeah.
Right? And then the conference, I'm there to speak at the conference. It's only 20 minutes long or 30 minutes long. I mean, I'm sure I'd meet some lovely people, but I'm there to do a talk. And then the next day I would fly out. I mean, like, there's no way to do it in one day. You have to take 3 days. And it's in the middle of the week, so I'd lose Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's a lot of time.
Yeah. You also don't like flying or traveling, or you get car sick, you get plane sick.
I get very plane sick.
Yeah, so you have all those things going against you. So one of the things,
this worked out.
Yeah, this was really good. And now
I have to show them the symptoms.
Yeah, now we have a really good example. We can do this live. We have really high speed connections. All of the cameras that you use now are like HD.
What's the speed of the connection here?
We have a few different ones.
But
we have a 450 up, 450 down, a 100 100 down, and then we have like our backup. I mean, like we have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I think
It's like this is like it's like you can actually get this now. You
yeah,
can
and then like
get pipes.
everything that's a camera is HD now.
Yeah.
So
and we also periscoped it
so we periscoped at the same
at
time.
the same time.
So that's kind of neat, and this is a good example. I'll be able to send a link to someone because they're like, well, can you really pull that off? And we actually broadcasted live here when you interviewed the president of the U.S.
Yep.
Also, same thing. In fact, we had the highest quality stream that was going to
And they actually, it's
to
funny,
DC.
they actually had a team that came in to
Yeah.
set it up. You did this, you have a little cart now, an AV cart.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
and they
same
said
thing.
there was no echo, there was no weird
Yeah,
effects.
that was perfect. Yeah, so we'll be able to do more of this. I hope that more conferences do this because they'll be able to get a more diverse group of people who can present because geography is usually one of the things that stops folks. So, okay.
Yeah, if you're not in San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay,
All right.
Adafruit Learning System, 880 tutorials. Lady
Yes.
Ada, what tutorials do you have this week?
We had a lot of tutorials this week. We're getting back in the tutorial groove. Starting off with a dual tutorial from Becky Stern. She wrote 2 tutorials for this. One is the Fona plus Flora tutorial. So basically how to add a Fona cellular module to your Flora. Maybe you have a wearable project. You already have your twinkling NeoPixel skirt. You want to add cell phone connectivity either to send SMSs, receive SMSs, make phone calls, receive phone calls. You can also connect data to Adafruit IO. So we did, we did a Bluetooth before, but you can basically create anywhere you are, if you have cell phone coverage, you can have an internet connected or cellular connected wearable device. So she did that, and she also made a really cool SMS messenger bag. It's a messenger bag with a flexible NeoPixel strip in it, and maybe we'll show the video later.
We will.
That you can text it a phone number, and it will update the message. So that's really cool. So it's a kind of 2-in-1.
Okay. Next up.
We have the Feather Bluefruit tutorial. So the fancy new product for this week is the Adafruit Feather 32U4 Bluefruit LE. If you know our Bluefruit, it's a Bluetooth Low Energy module. We've paired it with an Atmega 32U4, so it's an Arduino compatible chip that's very easy to use, and it also has built-in USB. So not only can you use it as serial debug and connect and program, but you can also have it act like a MIDI device or keyboard or mouse or anything. It's basically a generic USB device that can act like anything, and it has built-in battery charging, and it's compatible with our Feather line, which we will talk about more.
Well, that too.
And this is the second part of that tutorial. So this is the part that's just the Fluorofona wiring guide from Becky.
Yeah, I think this will be good because it's separated out, so it's a foundational article that you can build off of. Yeah. Okay.
This is another breakout that we've made. This is the Adafruit List 3DH XXX accelerometer. It's from ST, and we'll be talking about it more. This tutorial basically just shows you how to download the libraries, get your accelerometer working. It has a tap and double tap, which is kind of neat. So we just show you all these demos. This is just a product demonstration tutorial.
Okay. Next up.
This is a really great project from Tony Nicola. I really strongly recommend you check it out. Processing was released for the Raspberry Pi, and he showed it off last week. But if you ever wanted to do graphical programming with processing on a Raspberry Pi, you can do it on a Pi 2, and he shows you how to make it work on a Pi TFT. It's not too difficult, just a couple little things you got to do, and you can have an adorable little display on a Raspberry Pi that can display your processing code. You can't run the most power-hungry sketches on processing because it is a Pi 2. It's not a desktop computer, but a lot of demo projects, and you can do touch interface, GPIO, you can press the screen and have things happen, and then LEDs or buttons affect it. So really, really good release of processing. Instead of just a port, it actually ties in with processing, with the Raspberry Pi really well.
Okay, last up.
Last up, this is for last week's product. This is the Adafruit Feather 32U4 ADA logger. This is kind of like the Bluefruit, except instead of having a Bluetooth module, this is an Atmega 32U4 chip with built-in, native USB, the Feather outline, battery charging, and instead of Bluetooth, it has a micro SD card and holder, and that's so you can do data logging or data retrieval. So we're experimenting with Feather where you have the same core but different accessories. So one has Bluetooth, one has data logging. Pick which one makes sense for your project.
Okay, that was Adafruit Learning System. Next up, some amazing big news. in the world of Internet of Things. So
It's Nimbus, the
Yeah.
happy cloud entity.
yeah, it's Nimbus, the harmless cloud entity. Yeah, so Adafruit.io is pretty much out. We'll have more of an official launch later, but if you sign up, you'll probably get access right away.
And I believe everybody who has signed up has gotten access.
Yeah.
So on the off chance that you signed up and have not gotten your invites, just sign up again. We'll send you another invite.
Yeah.
Maybe you went to spam or something, but everybody has gotten approved.
Yeah, so a few things. There's dials and knobs. There's all sorts of
Maps.
stuff. Now, right now, this second, on Twitter, don't take my word for it, go check yourself. There's people that are talking about how easy it is to use Adafruit.io. So they're like, oh, like the MQTT stuff is always challenging, always impossible to use. Adafruit nailed it. Now, there was also someone who just kind of summarized. Sometimes the people who use things that you make say it best. This is Craig. We are loving Adafruit IO, by far the easiest way to prototype IoT devices. So if you haven't checked it out, Adafruit.io, like I said, no matter what, everyone who signs up will get in shortly if you're thinking about doing any IoT projects.
And it's free for makers. We have, sign up for an account, you get like 50,000 points. We have to have some limit so people don't like to destroy our hard drives. But you get tons of data. You can stream data very fast. There's not many limits. And again, you can push and pull, which is really neat. Most Internet of Things services, you can only stream data to them to like save. So you can set temperature and data to it, but you can't, temperature and like humidity, but you can't get any messages back. But we have a full MQTT broker that can do push and pull. So when you switch the dial or press the button on the web page, which you can use with your phone or your computer or your tablet or whatever, it sends a message, and it's fast. Like when you press a button, because you and I were playing with automated blinds, you press the button, and in about like 100 to 200 milliseconds, the reply appears, the device responds. So it's going through the internet, but it's really fast.
Yeah. So that's what I would say if you're really interested. And by the way, all of you out there who know us for a while, we don't know where this is going to go. It could get insanely popular, so we're probably going to have some type of paid tier. We like the Internet of Things Bill of Rights that you came up with, so we'll always let you know what's going on.
We'll always have a free tier.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Always.
We'll figure it out. The thing is, there's nobody out there that I know of that you can go talk to in the chat room or a live weekly show that is thinking about Internet of Things for makers. So it's us. Go play with it and figure out what you want to do with it, and then we'll figure out a way to make it a sustainable business together.
What I like about, because there are a lot of companies that are doing these sorts of cloud service, and they're doing a great job, and some of them are actually like really excellent services, but the problem is that the only way they can make money is subscription. Like, if people don't pay them for the service, they're just going to shut it down because they have bills to pay.
Yeah,
whereas Adafruit, we actually have a brilliant idea where we sell you things, and they cost you a little bit more than what they cost us, and with that extra money, that's what we pay rent with. And so instead of trying to like get you to pay $10 and $20 a month for Adafruit IO, which we might one day, but we don't have to, because instead we say, hey, would you like to use Adafruit IO? Check out our starter kit. And by purchasing the starter kit, that's how you support us. You get hardware to play with, and you support us. Yeah. And you can use this code that we talked about. 10% off.
All right, next up, time travel. We look back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, engineers. Every week we have something really interesting. This is a fun little thing in the world of engineering. Lady Ada in 1947, this week. American scientists John Bardeen and Walter Hauser-Breton, I guess that's what the pronunciation is, observed the basic principles of the transistor, a key element for electronic revolution of the 20th century. So, November 17th, that was just like a day ago. From that date, 1947, all the way to December of 1947, these two folks at AT&T Bell Labs in the United States performed experiments and observed what happens when two gold point contacts were applied to a crystal of germanium. A signal was produced with the output, and the power was greater than the input. There you go. Dun, dun, dun.
That's it. And,
that's it.
And that's really important. Because
you know what you get? You get a Nobel Prize for that.
Yeah, because you don't have to use vacuum tubes anymore.
Yeah.
You can see that there's a little point, where the sensor goes to, and it's like, it started out that big, and then now, nanometer processes can make them so small, and everything. I mean, transistors are awesome, and we have all sorts of different types. And
changed the world.
And it really changed the world. It is like the...
Yeah.
best
So
invention.
they started messing around with that. Oh, Schlottky, right,
Schlottky,
came on later.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's interesting is they did that in 1947, and then it took almost 10 years for them to get a Nobel Prize. But in 1956, this had turned into an industry. Like it was starting. Like the transistor had such a big.
It went from
impact.
like a scientific experiment to like, okay, like we can now have pocket calculators.
Yeah. I've got a question for you. We have time.
Okay.
So do you think there's any opportunities like this for one or two people to do again, or is it just like there just isn't going to be as many eureka discoveries like this for one or two people in electronics specifically?
I think there is still. I mean, it's tough. I mean, first off, it wasn't just one or two people. They were at Bell Labs. They had the support of an entire organization. They had money. This is what they did.
It was them.
It was them, but I mean, like there were probably other people who took data for them who are not mentioned. I mean, like, let's be honest. That there's always assistants.
There was absolutely some lady that was overlooked.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
I think that it's tougher. I think that definitely individuals can make a big impact. There's no question. And there's a lot of places where, I mean, I don't know if you would get a Nobel Prize, but there's definitely, we see people doing stuff with accessibility and prosthetics. And they're like the only person, right? The person who was doing the hands project with Google, that was like one or two people making a really big difference. And like people have kind of talked about 3D printed prosthetics, but they actually went and did it. And so the doing itness is important. And you know, you might not get a Nobel Prize, but you will affect people's lives. So I think that individuals can make a difference. It is tougher in physics now than it used to be because it's just there's many more people looking at it.
That was a trick question I asked you. No, that's the answer. Like now you have to there's individual achievements possible, but you have to work together well. You have to.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to make the next big leaps. You got to. For physicists, you got to eventually do a giant experiment like CERN. Like there's you can't do CERN by yourself.
No, it's
absolutely not possible.
It's a partnership project.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. It just means like if we're gonna make it and make big discoveries, we kind of have to do it together.
Okay.
So, anyways.
Okay, I'm glad I think I passed the trick question.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good.
Okay. Next up, Wearables with Becky Stern. This week we've got the bag. So can you get the bag right now? So this is an SMS bag. I'm gonna read the phone number off. So you want to turn it on?
Yeah, I'll turn it on.
Okay. So while you watch the video, why don't you text 917-340-7554. I'll type that in the chat too. And go ahead and text it, and we'll see what happens while we play the video. The video is about 2 minutes long, so we'll probably have some text messages coming in.
Okay.
All right. Today we're hooking up Flora to Fona to make a cell phone circuit you can wear. Fona is Adafruit's open source cell phone module that can make and receive calls, SMSs, and data. There are a few different flavors and shapes of Fona. Today we'll be using the basic Fona module. There's also the Fona 808 that combines cellular and GPS. Both communicate on the 2G GSM network. Grab the Fona library for Arduino and let's look at the data connections. We'll need to change the defaults so the software serial ports operating on pins 10 and 9 and the Fona reset pin should be set to 6. This frees up the dedicated I2C pins for sensors, other inputs and outputs. Solder the wire connections as described in the circuit diagram for this tutorial. The link is in the description. Flora can only be powered from the JST or USB ports, so solder a JST cable to Fona's BAT and ground connections and plug it into Flora. This wiring configuration takes advantage of Fona's onboard USB LiPoly battery charger. But it does mean that either a battery or a USB power must be connected to Fona even when Flora is plugged in for USB debugging. Fona can't be powered from Flora's USB port. You could use Fona for any SMS, data, or voice call wearables. My first Fona project is this bag that displays any text message it gets on a flexible NeoPixel matrix. You can learn how to make that and some other Fona projects at the link in the description to the Adafruit Learning System. We're adding more projects and improving the library all the time. What wearables would you make with Fona? Post your ideas in the comments and show off your own electronics projects on our weekly Show and Tell Hangout on Google+. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more wearable electronics from Adafruit.
Okay, and we're back. So thank you everyone who posted that stuff up.
Yeah, it's hard to see because it's so much.
Yeah,
so
you can
light.
see it off to the side because there's a
Okay.
little bit of a shadow. Yeah,
Okay.
do it that way.
So it says Adafruit rocks from
Yeah,
Danny. We also got an
thank
all
you,
your
Danny.
base, I belong to us, and a couple of
Yeah.
hellos. Thank you. And
Okay,
feel free to send more messages.
let's keep zooming along.
We're gonna move on.
Every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time is Wearable Electronics. Becky Stern today was Becky and Colin. And I think next week, I'll have to check the schedule. I don't know if they're off or not because it's a Wednesday. And I think Thanksgiving's coming up soon. We'll see what date it is. Is that next week or the week after?
What? Yes, next week.
All right. So that's coming up. So check the schedule. We're going to be doing Ask an Engineer all this month, I think, no matter what day it falls on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. we'll do it.
Yeah. 3D Thursday will.
Yeah.
Take a day
And
off.
then, speaking of 3D printing. All right, Noah and Pedro this week with a PiCam tutorial.
Coming up, a 3D printed Raspberry Pi camera case and tripod. Okay, so this is the Raspberry Pi camera module fitted inside a 3D printed enclosure and mounted to a 3D printed tripod. This simple design is really easy to 3D print and only takes a few minutes to put together. You can use a swivel head adapter to adjust the position of the camera, which gives it free range of motion, and it locks in place with a simple side screw. You'll need a few machine screws and other camera bits to assemble this project, along with the 3D printed parts, and of course the Raspberry Pi camera module. To start this project, we can attach the base connector to the enclosure using an M3 screw, and then install the camera tripod adapter to the inside of the base connector. We can then insert the flex cable from the Pi camera through the opening of the enclosure part and just pull it all the way through. You'll want to lay the camera board over the standoffs and hold it in place while fastening 4 machine screws into the back of the case. Now, to make this a bit more functional, we can use the camera lenses that are commonly used for mobile phones by sticking the included O-ring to the front of the case, which is pretty nice because it uses a magnet, making it pretty easy to swap out different camera lenses. To assemble the tripod, we'll insert a hex nut and then insert the leg into the slots near the bottom. While holding the hex nut in place, we can insert and fasten a machine screw through the hole on the side. For the grippy feet, we use NinjaFlex filament, and we can simply insert another screw here and just fasten it to the bottom of the tripod leg. Next up, we can insert the D-ring with a 1/4-inch screw through the bottom of the tripod base, and then install the swivel head adapter by tightening it onto the tripod connector. Lastly, we can attach the Raspberry Pi camera to the swivel head adapter by screwing it on tightly. And now we have a super simple and yet really useful tripod for the Raspberry Pi camera. So we're using this tripod to capture time lapses using Octoprint. We could also use this as a security camera. You can check out our playlist link below for more Raspberry Pi projects. Also, let us know how you would use this project, or if you have any questions in the comments, because we really love reading them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more 3D printing projects from Adafruit. And I'll see you guys next time, but until then, remember to keep on making.
Okay, that's it. The
All right.
longest running 3D printing show online.
And
okay.
best.
Yeah. Don't forget, tomorrow, 3 Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You can do it. Okay, Pi Day is this week, and I got something special in the mail.
Yeah.
So a million years ago, I ordered a $400 Raspberry Pi Bitcoin computer, and it arrived.
You want to show it on the overhead?
Yeah, we'll show it on the overhead. This is the, can you hand me the box? It's a 21 Bitcoin computer. That's what it's called. And
There you go.
we didn't get a chance to do more than just it arrived. And so you get to know your 21 Bitcoin computer. There's ventilation, there's a Bitcoin
Yeah,
chip,
there's like
a
this
GPIO
gigantic
header.
heatsink, and there's like an FPGA down here.
Yeah, go to the overhead.
Okay, so it's basically a Raspberry Pi 2, and you can tell because it's got the RAM chip on the bottom and the 4 ports. So this was put together recently-ish, even if it was ordered 4 years ago. Maybe they originally designed it for like the Pi 1, they had to redesign it for the Pi 2. And then there's a separate power supply, and then what's weird is that this is painted.
You're gonna cable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they have like a generic console cable,
Yeah.
and you can connect it to like this header to get
Did they
debug
put
data.
the card in the Pi?
Yeah,
Yeah, they have
there's a
that.
card
And then
in it.
here's a Wi-Fi dongle.
Okay.
They got that.
Okay, cool. So you got a Wi-Fi dongle.
And then a power supply.
Yeah, you need a big power supply because the power supply here is not just for the Raspberry Pi, but it's also for this FPGA. And then what's down here? That's like
Yeah.
some power management. This is a pretty serious device. There's like a lot of chips inside
So
of
they
there
got
for support.
5 volt, 6 amp. What do you think is the power supply?
That's a 5 volt 6 amp. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty beefy, 30 amp.
Pretty
so
beefy. FCC, CE, UL, RoHS. All right.
pretty good. So I see
Good deal.
a couple inductors, I think, in there. No, I see a couple capacitors. I don't see inductors. So it's a linear regulator that runs the FPGA, or the FPGA runs on 5 volts, which is possible. I guess there's some FPGAs that run on 5 volts. So yeah, the 6 amps goes straight to the FPGA, and that's what crunches your Bitcoin numbers.
Okay.
So congratulations.
Yeah, we'll check it out more later. But yeah, we have a Bitcoin computer. Neato. So we'll plug it in. I think this is going to go in my museum of interesting electronics for the time
I mean, the
period.
heatsink is beautiful. There's just like,
That's one of the coolest things I've
I
seen.
mean, there's like a fan and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of beautiful.
Okay.
Okay. So that's our Raspberry Pi news for the week. What a neat thing that the Raspberry Pi was able to do. That this low-cost Linux computer that you can build an entire company off of, basically. Like, it's kind of unheard of to ship another person's product on top of or underneath of yours.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
That probably, I mean, we made a Pi miner 2 years ago, and people still use it
Okay.
with the USB, just because it's like a handy little thing. You have to
Yeah.
worry about your desktop computer and all that
Yeah,
kind of
and like,
stuff. Oh, here, don't forget your
yeah, here's a photo.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. Actual size is actually that big. Okay. All right. Before we go on to new products, Lady Ada, the code is Blue Feather.
code.
Okay. Let's do new products.
Blue Feather.
Yeah.
New.
We'll get there.
New.
We'll go fast through these things.
New.
All right. First up, batteries.
We have 2 coin cell batteries. We don't actually really use these in any of our projects, but they're so useful that I figured we would carry them anyways. This is a 2016 battery. Often these are tiled, 2 of them, like one on top of each other, to fit into a 2032 holder, and that will make a 6 volt power supply. They're not a lot of milliamps. I think it's only like 20 milliamp hours or something, but they're super, super skinny, and when you need one, This is the CR2450. Actually, I want to show this on the overhead because it's very hard to see the scale until you see it. So it's this gigantic coin cell, and
Or a very small Lady Ada.
or a very small idea, and it's 3 volts. It's non-rechargeable. It's very handy when you need to be able to source quite a bit of current. I think it has 1,000 milliamp hours, maybe, or like 600 milliamp hours. It's quite a bit. So I do see these once in a while being used, and they're like $8 if you go to Duane Reade. So we have them for a couple bucks.
Okay. All right. Next up. Moving right along.
Moving
We
along.
got these books.
Do you know about did you order these?
Yeah, probably a million years ago.
So this is essentially, it's a kid's book. It's about like ninja hackers.
Yeah. I think I'd asked Stella to review these with her kids, and she said they were good, and then we got them.
Yeah, and there's like a workbook too. I don't know, it's fun. I like more new advanced books, and like there's projects and stuff you can do.
I mean, like, look at this. They're making books for if we were kids. Like, there's mainframes and
great.
computers. Yeah.
Hack the planet.
Yeah, everything's
Yeah, look
like,
at you, like you can.
it's code cracking. It's really neat. This is the kids that are gonna come out of this round are gonna be probably pretty cool. All right, let's keep going.
All right.
What else we got?
All sad. We have feather stackies. So these
Feather
are
stackies.
These are stacking headers for featherboards, and we'll talk about featherboards in a little bit. But I can show this on the overhead actually.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, let me go through these photos, and then we'll hit the
Okay.
overhead. So these are the feather stacky headers on a feather
Yes.
here.
So-
I like that we're starting to get. So this is a Ada logger with feather stacky headers. That's hard to say.
I
did
know.
it there. Okay.
Well,
all right.
it's an ecosystem. So, for example, normally you'd get like a feather, and it's like this, and you could plug, you could put headers onto it, so you can plug into a breadboard, for example. And this works really great. You're like, okay, I'm plugging into a breadboard, and I like my NeoPixel. But like, let's say you have some circuitry you want to plug on top. If you have stacking headers, then you can plug stuff on top of it, and kind of like a shield for an Arduino or a Pi hat. So these let you also plug into the breadboard while you have some circuitry on top of it. So I don't know. I think that's good.
Okay.
Very handy, a good accessory, soldered in when you
All
get your feather.
Here is an Adafruit board.
This is the LIST 3DH triple axis accelerometer. We have actually quite a few triple axis accelerometers, but this one is really, really low cost and is very easy to use. It has I2C and SPI, which is not, usually you only have one or the other. The price is really good. It's one of the least expensive accelerometers, it's like 10-bit. And it has a couple other cool little things built into it. For example, it has tap and double tap detection. So when you tap it or you attach it to something and then you thwack it, it can detect that. It knows like, oh, there was like a pulse. And so you can have tap and double tap.
Okay.
It also has 3 analog digital converter pins. They're only like 1 to 2 volt range, but you know, if you just need some analog inputs and you don't have some on your board, it's a really easy way to add analog inputs. And it doesn't use clock stretching, which the MMA accelerometers do. We basically kept seeing this chip in every single wearable teardown. If you watch the wearable teardowns that I do with Becky, this accelerometer was in everything. Like literally every single wearable that had sensing in it had one of these. So I was like, okay, obviously there's something about this chip that's great. So I picked them up, and yeah, they're a good workout.
Okay. These photos are great. I can imagine a news organization like CNN using them one day to illustrate something they wanted to convey. Okay, next up, this is almost the star of the show tonight.
Yay, it's the Arduino Zero.
But-
it's the real Arduino
But
Zero.
it's not the star of the show tonight. There's another product that's going to be star of the night.
I know, but this
'Cause
is
but this is
exciting.
very close.
So this is the Arduino Zero. So this is the SAM D21G18 breakout with an eDebug system.
From the real Arduino.
SimSysDip. This comes from arduino.cc. It's made in Europe. We had quite a while ago purchased M0s from arduino.org. We had the purchase order. They came in, and we were kind of stuck with them. So we still have them, and they're on sale right now until we sell out. But we also, you know, if this is your first one, I would recommend getting one of these Zero boards because they work a little bit better. They have a couple bugs fixed and stuff.
Well,
It's a Cortex M0. What?
only buy stuff from arduino.cc. Sorry, folks. Like, you got to do it.
Yeah. Also, it's a much better board. I mean,
Yeah.
there's multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Multiple reasons. So this has a SimSysDap chip on it, the Atmel eDebug. So it can program it. You can program it. You don't need to like a bootloader programmer if you want to mess around with bootloaders. It has native USB. It also has USB on the go. Although I don't know if there's any code for it yet. It has an analog output. It has a DAC output, not just ADCs. It has tons of ADCs, tons of timers. It runs at 48 megahertz. It has a 32 kilohertz real-time clock as well that it uses to synthesize the 48 megahertz. So it can do extremely low power. And that's basically what it's really good at. It's extremely low power. Like if you want something that's fast, has a lot of flash, has a lot of RAM, and you're okay with using 3.3 volt logic, this is a really great upgrade from the Uno. It's definitely a leap above like the Leonardo. It's not as fast as the Duo, but it has many of the same capabilities being a Cortex M0. Anyways, I'm so glad we finally have these. I love this chip, the ATSAM D21. It's a great chip and makes for an excellent next generation after the Uno.
Okay, and like I said, the star of the show tonight, besides maybe the Zero,
Yay.
is one of these boards.
It's the Blue
We got like 3 stars. Okay.
We have many stars.
All right, this is it.
This is the Feather Bluefruit. So we've been coming out with a Feather board every week, and these are basically boards that all use the same chipset, the same pinout, the same size, but they change out what accessories come with it. So they all have an Atmega 32U4 running at 8 megahertz. Basically, just like our Flora, and it's very similar to the Leonardo chip, same chipset. It's supported with the Arduino IDE. This one, this board comes with Bluetooth Low Energy as our Bluefruit LE module, and here's the demo. I don't know whose hand that is. Is it Yarrow's?
I don't know, it's cool.
It's a cool hand, got really good jewelry. And they're showing how our Bluefruit app can be used to change the color of NeoPixel ring. Basically, it's a way to have any tablet, phone, or even a modern computer, such a Mac OS X or Windows 8 or higher, can communicate wirelessly. You don't need any extra things. It's like it's natively supported. So you don't need like 2 XBs. It has USB and built-in battery charging. You can use it with a LiPo battery, and it will automatically do the power switchover and all that good stuff. I have demo.
Yeah,
Yes?
I got a couple more photos.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
nice feathers. A nice logo that Bruce Yan designed.
Yeah.
And we're going to have accessories. I mean, we have these stacking headers, and it's not too surprising. We're going to have feather wings that plug on top that will add more capability. So if you want to control motors, for example,
Yeah.
we might show something on
All right.
this.
We have a Bluefruit app that you can use.
And I'm going to show the Bluefruit app
on
Like
Android,
Android,
or
iOS,
iOS.
and we also have a desktop version, a minimal version for
Yeah, all right.
Mac
Shut up.
OS X. So yeah, this is the demo. So I didn't test this beforehand, so I hope it just works. But you can power it up,
Yeah, usually
and then
stuff just works lightly.
you can charge it over micro USB, but it's already charged up. And this weird LED says, "Hey, I'm waiting." So okay, disconnected. So then I open up my app, and then I find the Bluefruit LE, and I'm going to connect with controller. And with the controller, I'm going to use the color picker, and then I can. Oh man.
What?
Oh, shoot! Sorry, I have another one. Sorry, I have two Bluefruits.
You have two Bluefruits.
That's
the
very
thing.
embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Okay, sorry. Let's do this again.
That's cool that that's even possible with
I might have to.
with our demos. That we
I know
have.
because I have two demos.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
You have
One
multiple demos.
second. One second. Okay. Let's try it again.
And so that's the one there.
Yeah, I had to completely power this off. Oh no, now the Bluetooth stuck. Okay, I got it. Whew. All right, I can do this. Yay! Okay. Whew. So pretend that last 30 seconds didn't happen. Just erase it from your mind.
No, that's cool that you can show how easy it is to switch between devices. This is a feature.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I named them the same thing because I didn't change it. You can change the name, but I didn't do it for the demo because that's
Don't name your Bluetooth devices or children the same thing.
okay.
Very confusing.
So this just shows you a demo of the color picker, which is just the easiest demo to show off. But we have other things like control pad, which will let you send like buttons. And then another thing that's really neat is you can turn on data streaming from the device. So for example, quaternion data of the orientation of the tablet can be sent to the Bluetooth Energy. So you make it, and you can also send GPS location data. You can connect with, you can update firmware over the air. You can do the controls which I showed you, pin IO, which basically lets you turn each pin on and off, and like analog read and control. UART, which basically lets you do a direct RxTX. So basically kind of like an XV, you just send data back and forth. And so the other demo I had, so I'm going to unplug this one because that's confusing. And this is the demo that I accidentally connected to. So this is a little robo friend. So this one has a Bluefruit feather here, and it has the stacking headers on it. And then over here I have it's not out yet, don't ask. It's a motor wing. So basically it allows you to control two motors, and these are two DC motors that look like servos. And then you can turn on the app. So hold on, scan peripherals. Okay, so connect to this new one, and then I'm going to go to the controller, but this time I'm going to go to control pad. Hey, can you just make sure that this doesn't go completely?
It'll be okay.
Okay, so.
Oh, do it again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go again.
Okay, so I'm going to press this button.
Yeah.
So yeah, when
Wow.
I control it, it's
You
wirelessly
can also
controlled.
do it like this, and I can.
Okay. So it can turn left or right. And then another thing that James added is he actually had the accelerometer. So when you tilt, so hold it up.
Oh, neat.
So when you tilt, it'll
Yeah.
move with the tilt. I don't want it to like run around the floor.
Oh,
But you can basically,
that's cool.
you point forward and it goes forward, and that uses the accelerometer inside of the iPad or Android device to send to it, and then the 32U4 reads
Yeah.
that data from the Bluetooth connection and then controls the motors. So you can see you can get like really, and this only took him like a half an hour, and he'd like
Yeah.
never really
Check
programmed.
this out if you look close, folks. You can see like some type of double wing thing going on there. I guess that's
Yeah, it's
not
a double
out
wing.
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Look how cute this is. Put these under. We're gonna run over a couple minutes. Aw.
Okay.
So look at how cute these little feathers are. Look at this little menagerie.
Yeah, we got a little like
Boards of a
NeoPixel.
feather. Like, look at how cute
We
this
have
is.
like the
this is
huzzah feather.
this is neat. You can make a little car out of it. You've been busy, Lady Ada.
I was really busy for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
But yeah, we
all right.
basically have like a huge family of these feather boards because this is a common thing, and we're gonna go over, but I think it's worth talking about. So building something like this, it's like you don't want to have like 3 Arduino shields, like Arduino, now a battery shield, now a motor shield, now a Bluetooth shield. It's like they can be much smaller. Like I basically packed the entirety of our motor servo driver, which can do
Yeah.
2-steppers or 4 motors, And like most of it's empty space on the Arduino Shield. So I just took out all the prototyping area and it just fits into this. And I've done a bunch of motor control projects, and then it has Bluetooth and battery charging built in. So this is like, you're done. Like, you add a little chassis, and now you have a Bluetooth robot that, like, we had James built in like a half an hour. I was like, oh, just put together because I was actually testing out the sample. I was like, oh, just put together the little robot friend. And after he finished, he's like, oh, do you want me to make a little driving robot with the Bluefruit feather? And I was like, I mean, it's 4 o'clock, and our show starts in a couple hours, but go ahead. And he finished it before 5.
Yeah, being able to make a Bluetooth robot in a half an hour is kind of the lead story with stuff like this. Like, I mean, that's kind of what you want to do.
It's just like, it's super easy.
Yeah, and if you can't, you're like, I hate electronics. But if you can, you're like, I made a robot getting a control with my phone in half an hour.
Yeah, so the idea is like, then, you can stack more wings on top. So it's like an OLED wing or a NeoPixel wing, or like you can add Wi-Fi. I mean, like you can keep adding as much capability as you want. And I like we had the Bluetooth Micro before, the Bluefruit Micro, but I think adding the battery charging built in is like what makes this work. And it's the feather. It's going to be the standard shape and size. Anything will work in it. It's going to be great. Anyways, yay!
You did it.
I just spent like 2 months on this.
Yeah, you did it. Okay. All right. So with that, guess what, Lady?
Yeah.
You did new products.
Whee.
Good work.
That was a demolicious party.
Yeah, you did new products. That's what you did.
I did them and I did them.
You did it. Okay, so we're gonna go over a couple of minutes. Start asking your questions in the chat, folks, on Twitch, on Ustream, on.
Yeah, we can do some.
Yeah, the only one that's hard to see is Periscope. YouTube we can see. That's not too bad. Okay. Code is Blue Feather. That's what we were talking about. So get 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your orders is what supports Adafruit. We have no ads, no sponsorship, no venture capital, no loans. So this is only going to work out if everyone wants it to work out.
Yeah, we love giving away stuff like Adafruit IO, schematics, code, tutorials, 880 tutorials. All the people who write tutorials are paid.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's kind of up to all of us. If this is going to work out, it's going to work out. And it'll be because of all of us, not because of something external. So
thanks all of us.
Yeah, so we'll do the questions. If there's time, we'll do it. It's not out yet. Don't ask. I think we should get to some questions first.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to.
Okay.
Ready to rock.
Here we go. I'm gonna try to scroll back because there was.
I know there's so many questions.
Yeah, there was a few. I wanted to know. Again, what are you calling the shields for this thing?
We're calling them feather wings.
Okay.
Boards of a feather flocked together.
Okay.
Basically, you can put them on top, and we sort of wanted to say like, what happens when you have multiple feathers? Well, it's a wing, so that's why we call them wings. Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna speed run this.
Okay.
Is there any more documentation of the BLE library that exists in the Bluefruit LE Shield?
Not really, but if you have any questions that aren't answered, you can post in the forums, and we'll answer them. We pretty much have documented everything we have to for the interface, and we have a lot of demo examples. There's a lot of documentation for the Bluefruit LE. If you're interested, you can check the commits in the GitHub repository for the Bluefruit library, where you can sometimes see like, hey, we added this, we added that.
All right. Let's see. Next up, would you be interested in making a empty proto feather wing just for soldering for through holes? Nothing special, just personal add-on circuits. You probably already have that. Okay, look, you asked for it, you got it. Okay, it's that easy. All right, next up.
Speed round. I designed it in that 3 seconds between your questions.
What's better for reprogramming at Mega chip once on my custom PCB FTDI pins or ICP-SP pins?
It depends on your style. If you want to have it with an Arduino bootloader, put the bootloader on and then use FTDI. I actually usually have both available because you might have to reprogram the bootloader. You use the ICSP pins, but if you want to keep the bootloader, you'd use the FTDI connection for debugging as well. So there's good reasons to have both.
Okay. Can I use tone command out of a teensy 3.1 DAC into line N of the VS_1054 breakout to use as the headphone amp?
Yes, I think so. As long as it's a true DAC. I mean, I'm assuming that you're using the DAC line that's analog out and not like the PWM out. If it's true analog in, then yes, you can pipe it right into line in.
Is the Tico 3D printer worth it? We don't stock that one, do we?
I never heard of
Post
the
up
Tico.
in the forums. Noah and Pedro will probably be able to answer it. Also, ask them on their video chat. They know all the 3D printers. They'll definitely tell you if it's worth it or not. Next up, can the Bluefruit feathers talk to each other?
No, the Bluetooth Low Energy modules we use are client only, basically, so they can talk to a server like a tablet or a laptop or a computer or a phone, but they don't talk to each other, and they don't talk to other Bluetooth Low Energy clients either. That's kind of how Bluetooth Low Energy works. You have like one client talking to one server. That server can talk to multiple Bluetooth Low Energy devices, but right now the 4.0 standard is only one way.
Okay. Next up, someone wants to know how to submit a guide to learn.adafruit.com. I can tell you about that. So usually we find the authors, and if it's someone who isn't already authoring with us, do an Instructable or post up somewhere online, do a blog post somewhere so we can see what you're writing about, because it's very easy to then put it into the learning system. But we get a lot of people who are interested. We just have to see like a writing sample or something, because whatever we put into the learning system, we have to then support. So I always suggest put in Instructables no matter what. Hackaday.io is really good. Hackster.io.
On their blogs,
a
I showed
variety
off-
of IO
Yeah, yes.
sites.
Basically, anywhere we see it, that's where we've gotten a lot of our authors. It's just we're not, because we have to maintain a very. People expect that the guides on
Yeah.
Adafruit are totally functional and work with all of our stuff. It's a little tougher to publish a guide. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a documentation set for our store.
Someone wanted to know if the trick includes a bootloader. It does.
Yes.
If it doesn't post up in the forums, we'll troubleshoot. There could be, you never know, could be an issue.
They all ship with a bootloader. We also have instructions on how to put one on.
Yeah, you can also put one on too. But
But post on forums.
give us a chance to check that out with you. Next up, what's Adafruit's first product?
First product was the Minipov 2, or Minipov 1. Did I sell that? I think Minipov 1 or Minipov 2 was
Yeah.
the first product.
Okay.
And the Zox box, that was
right.
also.
Next up. Next question, about how long does it take to launch a new platform? So Feather, you've been working on it for how long? I mean, it's been,
3 months?
well, yeah, but you started talking about it like a year ago.
I kind of germinated
So-
the idea for quite a while, and I batted around, but I think 6 months ago I was like, okay, I should do this thing, and 3 months ago I actually started sending out board designs.
Yeah.
But it started with the Bluefruit Micro. That was definitely the beginning, because I was like, oh, like, let's do something like this. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I should do this, but for data logging. I should do this for Wi-Fi. I should do this for Bluetooth. Everything.
Yeah. Okay. And then the other thing, the question about the wave bubble, that wasn't a product, that was a project, so that wasn't the first product. Someone.
Oh yeah, tons of projects before then.
Someone posted a question to the backpack. They want to know how many characters. We could check the tutorial.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. About how many feather wings do you think or feathers you're gonna be kicking out?
I think there's
One a
going to
week?
be about, I'm going to try to hit one a week for a little bit. I definitely have 2 that were picking place today, so those will be in next week.
Okay.
Those are the M0 feathers, then I have a couple of, I think I'm going to have a total of like 8 or 9 feather main boards, and then maybe like a dozen feather wings.
Okay.
I'm willing to do more, but I want to, I'm instead of doing like one gigantic release, I'm kind of putting out one at a time.
Okay.
I've tested the feather wings with all the different platforms, but it just takes time to get those out. So that's why the feather boards are coming out first and the wings second. But some were sent out for fabrication.
Okay. Is there a more low profile solution than regular female headers to attaching daughter PCB boards?
I don't know. I don't think so. Stacking headers they work really well. But I'll look. I don't think so. I haven't really seen anything else.
Okay.
It's either that or Swiss pin headers, and those are extremely short.
Next up, what's the best way to connect the RGB LED strip that we sell, the NeoPixels, to an Arduino?
We have a great tutorial on the learning system all about it. It's called the Uber Guide for NeoPixels. So if you Google that or go to the Learn document, it's also linked off of many of the NeoPixel tutorial product pages. And that has everything you could possibly ever want to know ever about how to use a NeoPixel strip with an Arduino.
Okay. And then someone wants to know why free BSD? Is that an inside joke or something? Why free BSD? Do you like free BSD?
FreeBSD is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have FreeBSD running on anything right now,
Slackware.
but you
Forever.
you could run FreeBSD on a Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
I know they were released.
All right. And let's see. On the Feather 32.4, can can appear as an HID, so it's because an Arduino could possibly emulate an entire keyboard or at least key presses rather than a Bluefruit HID key. So what can the Bluefruit?
The Bluetooth Low Energy module can act like a keyboard. We do have some code for that. It's not like super 100% complete because there's no real good documentation about it, so we're kind of reverse engineering Bluetooth keyboards. But so you can connect to like a tablet and act like a keyboard. Also, the 32U4 itself can act like a keyboard that's built into, it can act like an HID keyboard or mouse that's built into the Arduino IDE. So you could have a two-way keyboard. You could have something send Bluetooth keys and USB keys.
Okay, so you got through a bunch. I want you to do the It's Not Out Yet, Don't Ask, just show it really quick. So this is top secret. It's not out yet, don't ask everybody. We'll just show it briefly. We showed it on Twitter last night. By the way, if you go to twitter.com/Adafruit, we're always posting stuff and vines and everything.
Ooh,
so this is not out yet. These are called the...
These are itsy bitsies.
Itsy bitsies.
Because they're little itsy bits
This is what
of
they
bits.
are, and they're real.
Yeah, basically after I designed the feathers, and I was like, oh, I can make them even smaller. So I made a version that doesn't have a battery charging or anything. And there's 3 different flavors of them, and you can guess what the 3 flavors are.
Well, they can't guess because it's not out yet, don't ask.
I know. That's why they have to guess in secret. Or just wait. They'll be out in a couple weeks.
Okay. All right, and with that, that's the show tonight. We're going to do the trivia question. What do you want to give away tonight?
We're going to give away a Bluefruit feather.
Okay, give away a Bluefruit feather. Alrighty.
But of course.
What are the rules for trivia?
The rules are if you've won anything from this show, you can't win again. Only one winner per my lifetime. So if you've won something from the Ask Engineer trivia question, sit on your hands or go make yourself a cup of cocoa. The first person to answer the question correctly in any of the streamy things that Mr. Lady Ada looking at will be the winner.
Yeah.
Please type it in correctly.
Okay.
He gets to decide the winner.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Everyone, they think I'm always going to use the information from the time travel. I'm not.
Sometimes.
I'm going to keep this real easy.
It's a good guess.
Which chip is the Atmel chip on the Bluefruit feather, the feather Bluefruit? Which one is it? Which Atmel chip is it?
I'd like the full
which one is it?
part number.
Yeah, which one is it? It's not 1947 because that's what someone wanted to guess. It's funny. They don't do that. They're thinking. Okay.
Okay.
62LA in Twitch. Congratulations. You got it. So 62LA in Twitch. You won. Okay.
Congratulations.
So 62LA
At Mega324.
at Mega32.
You will pay attention.
Email support@adafruit.com and
You'll win this Bluefruit feather.
you'll win this Bluefruit feather.
I
and
hope
that's
you
it.
love the chip.
Yeah,
What
just
does
let
that
the
do?
support team know that you won the Bluefruit feather, and we'll help out. So congratulations.
Okay, everybody else, next week you get another chance.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. Thank you, everyone, for joining the show tonight. Thank you all the Adafruit team members who always help out. Thank you, everyone who works here. Thank you, the community and the customers. You're what makes this happen. And watch out at crosswalks, folks. Someone got hit pretty hard by a car right outside here, right before we started the show. A little reminder, don't look at the phone and focus. Be in the moment. Be mindful.
Only you have to worry about. You can do that at home. You can
cross-section. Crosswalks are.
Especially ones that lead into the Holland Tunnel, because
Everyone's in a rush.
the people driving the car aren't paying attention either,
Yeah.
and they have no problem
Okay.
just speeding.
All right, and thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you next week, as we do every single week. Don't forget the thing that keeps this machine going. It's your orders. Bluefruit feather, 10% off all the way up to blue feather. I can see the words.
I know you can see but can't read. Blue feather.
I start to tap out around now.
No, we're getting out of here. We're already 12 minutes.
I'm supposed to be out of here right now. Okay.
Bye.
All right, we'll see everybody next week. Thank you so much. Here is your moment. Oh, I guess I should have cat first.
Oh, right.
Then here's your moment of Xeno.
Oh, he's so cute.
Meow meow.